Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Spectral Division. Hope you're all doing well. I'm doing quite well. Hopefully, you like my little microphone. Hopefully, it's doing the job well for us here. I would use my main mic, but I can't be arsed setting up OBS. And yeah, I'm also recording my phone because I broke my stream camera. It's fantastic. But yeah, here we are. 2024 is now over. We're in 2025. And it's been a year. It's been a pretty good year. Most of all, a lot of stuff's happened. I haven't really been doing much of this YouTube stuff, so there's that to consider. But other than that, it's been pretty damn good so far. So yeah, this video is more or less me talking about everything that happened in 2024, both in my own life, but also the games I've played and how I feel about them. And yeah, we're just gonna get into it. Let's just go. Let's go. So the first 6 months of 2024, I was busy. I was grinding away, trying to save up money for my wedding, which also happened in the same year, but we'll get there. As part of that, I had to take a bit of a hiatus from making content, simply because I had to focus on my other jobs and just making money up for said wedding. So it was really a lot of busyness. I did stream a bit here and there. I did play games in between time, a lot more for me than for content, which was nice as well. Not having to think of a video or a stream that I'm going to try and tie some game into was definitely a change of pace that I was happy to go for. But that was about the first 6 months. And then in June, I got married. And it was a fantastic day. The weather was fantastic. Lois looked fantastic. Everything was great. Like, it was such a special day. I don't really have the words to describe just how nice it was. But yeah, it was just a really, really great experience. Would recommend it. Don't want to get married again. Simply because of all the stuff that had to go on, and yeah, I don't ever have a reason to get married again. I guess that's it. One and done. We're good now. But it was great. And following that, we did have a honeymoon. We went to Rhodes in Greece, which was fantastic. I got to really satiate my adventuring itches. I took a car out for the day. We went all around the country. The island, whatever works. We went up throughout the island anyway. Went to a load of nice little spots. And I'm sure I'll probably overlay a lot of me chatting away here with the stuff we did there. But it was a great time, and really nice to relax after all the stress and busyness that led up to and went on through the wedding, which it was lovely. But yeah, that was my big thing for the year, more or less. After that, I finally got back into making some content, and thank you guys so much for the support that you've been giving me on my more recent videos. I did have to take another bit of a hiatus, but obviously that's ended now. Throughout that time of making new content and doing that there, I met up with JP and Andrew, or PVG, and Above Average Andrew, which was a fantastic time. We run around Belfast doing lots of bits and bobs. We got some good food, and we went and shot real guns at a virtual screen in a place, and they had songs from that group Kneecap, which was cool. It was fun. It was a vibe. I also got the high score, and we got a free shot of tequila, which was really fantastic. I really enjoyed that. But there was a lot of game playing through the year. There was a lot of games that were played. There was a lot of gamers that gamed gamingly. First up was GTA. GTA 5 has been a game I have played countless times over the years, from the original 2013 release all the way through to this most recent replay at the beginning of this year. It was great. It was great fun. I ended up replaying it due to working for another very handsome creator for a video he made. Thanks, Joe. Much appreciated.
Love you, Adrian.
And while I replayed it, I was just reminded of how class that game was. Like, the story, the customization, the worlds, and all the ways you can interact with it, the way NPCs react around you. The set pieces are fantastic. Michael, Trevor, Franklin, I love them all as characters. I wish we got more of them, honestly. But I was just reminded of how good GTA 5 was and why I think I'm so excited for GTA 6 and why everybody is so excited for GTA 6, to be completely honest. When you see what GTA 5 was able to give, uh, we can only wait and see on what GTA 6 will give us, because I'm sure it's going to be something really, really special. Alongside GTA 5, I did play some of the online mode as updates come out throughout the year. And honestly, I'm still really impressed that Rockstar can go 10 years on and still have this content that like really, really intrigues me. 10 years down the line, that's like wild behavior, honestly. But yeah, hopefully GTA 6 lives up to GTA 5 in the same way, and the same for its online mode, honestly. Like, I'm not really all that big into like live service games and what they offer, but there's a very few exceptions to that rule. GTA Online is one of them, and is one of the progenitors of the recent era, especially in like the four. I don't think anybody else has done the GTA Online format the same way GTA has, which makes sense, but still. So yeah, I can't wait to be a geriatric on my deathbed playing the 426.9 update of GTA Online when I'm, whenever it happens. So we go from Grand Theft Auto to just auto in Need for Speed Unbound. I really like cars. I really like racing cars. I did used to race cars for stock cars, which was really fun. I do enjoy cars and all that stuff. So Need for Speed has always been a franchise that I've played on and off through the years. I initially loved the original Most Wanted when it came out. It had such a vibe. It had this story that I just really enjoyed at the time. Like, it's so nonsensical. It's stupid. It's very, very daft. But I just enjoy it so damn much. It's really hard to explain. That being as it is, I don't really play many Need for Speed games anymore. A lot of the recent entries seem to have been pretty terrible from what I can see, so I haven't really took much interest. But that did change with Unbound. I checked it out when it was on Game Pass and then on PS Plus, and that's really the only reason I played it. But I was really impressed by just how fun this damn game was. The arcadey driving, the thrill of being neck and neck with a guy as you try and get that first place finish. It's amazing. Not to mention the customization is so good. You can do a lot with these cars and make them just look exactly how you want them to look, which a lot of games somehow struggle with, I find, with either limited options or like you get a lot of cars but you don't get a lot of customization for each car. Where I really love it when you can just get a car, customize the ever-loving shit out of it, and it being viable from start to finish. And that's something I did find to near enough be the case with Need for Speed Unbound. I think there was a lot of like realism sort of encountered there. Like, my Miata shouldn't outrun the bloody Aventador, but that I can concede. Overall, I was really glad to pick this back up again and play it again. This was just a completely me playing it for me game, so that was really just great to check it out and chill out some evenings. And just play a bit of Need for Speed. Very nostalgic. Also, that anime art style, I don't know what the fuck they were playing at with it, but honestly, they cooked, because it's great. I love it so much. It's really weird, but it's so interesting. And that visual diversity is something sorely missing in a lot of racing games today. I really gotta remember to like pause and breathe properly, because I'm really fucking up my sentences. Sorry about that. Before we move on to the next game, I just want to please ask you if you could pop me a like if you are enjoying the video so far, and if you have any thoughts on any of these games that we're just talking about, throw me a comment as well. It's much appreciated. And if you aren't already, please subscribe. I would love to make it to 1,000 subscribers this year. That is my big plan at the moment. So yeah, thank you if you do. If you don't feel like it, your choice. Thanks. Now, the next game on this list though is one I've had a lot of trouble playing. Not because it's bad, mind you. Abu Bakr Salim's love letter to his recently passed father was something that really hit me personally, to be fair. If you've watched my leg video, you would know this, but my dad was a big part of my life, and he passed away whenever I was only about 14. So playing a game that really hones into that element of loss that you have to deal with was something that really affected me. It really hit me in ways I didn't expect it to fully. It's a really fun game. It's a class wee action side scroller. The abilities are really interesting. The way you can switch from the iciness and the fire and all this here. It's a very good game, and it's wrapped in this African mythology, which I'm not very familiar with, but I find incredibly interesting to go through and learn about as I play. But it's just not something I've been able to really go too far into, simply because I think if I played it anymore, I just would be skundered by the fact that I just had tears in my eyes as I try to play this video game. But yeah, it's something I'm definitely gonna have to go back into and complete at some point. But really, Abby, whatever, you done good here, mate. Like it's some game for one game. I automatically love games that are from where I'm from, and doubly so when they wear those inspirations on their sleeves. Parcel Court did both of these for me. The gameplay is fun, energetic, engaging. There's a certain thrill you have from trying to deliver all these packages within the time frame while you're jumping and grinding and doing tricks along the way to either boost your time or just go on a more efficient path. It's really, really fun. As well as that, they have a lot of this real caricature humor that I just find really fun. And yeah, it has a lot of Northern Irish jokes and all this stuff that is very, very colloquial. But I really think that's what gives it this vibe that I really, really enjoy. Yeah, I'm biased. I'm Northern Irish myself. Of course, I'm going to love the Northern Irish game. But yeah, there's just something that I love seeing about having what is very much something of my culture and very specific to sort of around my areas. Something really intriguing to see back in video games, and it's not something I see often because you either get like the UK sort of vibe or you get the Irish vibe. But very, very, very few ever do that Northern Irish, very niche vibe. So, GG to Parcel Core for that. It's also really fun, so that really helps. I really recommend checking it out. Definitely not just because I got a review code. Monkey. Wukong was a game I was actually really excited for when I saw its trailers. A Souls-like that was based on the Monkey King himself, who inspired guys like Goku. Then, like, I'm gonna really be into it. As well as that, it has these really cool mythological elements and really delves into that mythological story of Journey to the West, which I just find absolutely fascinating. So, on top of that, it got me to look into Journey to the West more. And any game that really gets me to explore mythology, it gets a gold star on my book because why would you not when you see how flashy and awesome this game looks? The combat's like really good. For a Souls like it's a little bit different. It's a lot more action adventure than fully Souls like. It's got very flashy combos and all this really cool stuff with set pieces, but it still holds core to a lot of like the core Soulsy elements, but leans it more into that action adventure aesthetic that's was great when I was growing up and playing those type of games. I do have a video planned on this one though, so I'll not talk too much more on it. But yeah, good game, Monkey. Dragon's Dogma 2. I never played DD1 simply because I didn't really know about it. So when I saw the trailer for DD2, I was really intrigued by this game where you like climb on monsters and go out adventuring with your pawns. And you're going to like take over the kingdom that should have rightfully been yours. It was all really cool, and it was drenched in this really interesting medieval aesthetic with all the dragons and the monsters to fight and all this here. It really hit for me when I saw the trailers for it. Playing it though was a bit of a different story. It does give you that really adventure vibe that a lot of games have struggled to give you, but that does come at the expense of a coherent and good story, as well as other immersive elements just not really being present, which I always love in games, and especially in fantasy games where you really should be able to fully immerse yourself in the world and just chill out. It does have a lot of these, by the way. Like you can go camping and you can fight your monsters and you can take carts for fast travel. Like it's got those elements that way, but I'm also just running through a city, going into everybody's fucking house and robbing them blind, and they don't care. They think I'm great for it, which just really breaks the immersion for me, unfortunately. And the story itself really being so bone dry for most of the runtime is what drew me away from the game and why I sort of had to move on to other games to maintain my interest, unfortunately. So, yeah, I still want to go back to it, and I definitely plan on doing so, but it'll just have to come at a time where, I'm a bit more free and can sort of like try and get into it a little bit more than I was able to on my first playing. Silent Hill 2 scared the shit clean out of me. I'll not lie. I'm not great with horror games. I never have been. So I never really played them. And I never played the original Silent Hill 2. And I also managed to stay away from a lot of its core elements and story beats and everything like that, which was a real benefit for me because it meant I got to experience Silent Hill 2 Remake, from a very new perspective without the joinings of nostalgia holding me back into any preconceived notion. But this game's fucking terrifying, man. Like, the amount of times I was literally sitting on stream, absolutely fucking scared out of my mind, going through mental turmoil I have barely had to feel in my entire life. Like, it broke me. It very nearly broke me. The way the guys scuttle up along the walls when you're in the prison, or the way the walking lumps of skin come at you, it's fucking utterly terrifying. I will say that the least scary segments of this game were where you're fighting Pyramid Head, though, which is really funny to me because he's meant to be like the big bad scary guy, and like relative to the rest of the game and like standard enemies, it did not scare me as much. And the story is just incredible the way they do it. It's so opaque in a lot of aspects and leaves a lot up to interpretation on how you're meant to go into it and how you're meant to like really see what's happening within it. The characters all have this really creepy, unreal, dreamlike vibe to them that I just can't shake. And yeah, the ending the ending I got, I thought it was pretty good. And then JP informed me that there's like fucking 7 endings. All of them are vastly different, even though 2 of them are definitely joke endings, but that's fine. It's like, fuck me, man. The ways you can interpret this game are so many, and I think that's just really damn cool. I do have another. I'm going to make. There's another one I'm making a video on. Sorry about all this because you're going to get my very much Cliff Notes version of a lot of these breakdowns of these games. But don't worry, they're going to get their own full-fledged segments eventually.
The time is right.
Let them have it, fellas.
I was never a big JRPG fan growing up. I was very much like a typical young person playing my Call of Duties and my GTAs, my Need for Speeds, and all of that there. I was never really into like JRPGs. As I say, I played Legend of Zeldas, and that's really about it. I don't even think you would call them JRPGs. But Persona 3 Reloaded really intrigued me. Definitely for one, because I do enjoy anime, and so something like this would really intrigue me. But also the way the game sort of looked and the vibe it was giving off. So when P3 Reload, which is a remake of the original Persona 3, was coming out, I was fascinated by it. And this was compounded upon when one of my other mates, Reese, was playing through the game on his streams. And it really just made me think that, oh fuck, I really need to play this. It looks fucking cool. So that's what I did. I played it, or at least I started to. At this point, I'm only about 20 hours in, but I'm already itching to go back and play it because it's so fucking cool, man. Like, you've got this really cool, like the Persona system itself is really awesome. The aesthetics and all of the art style is amazing. The menus look fucking great. Like, the fact that you can gush about the menus in this game is a real testament to its quality. The story is really cool too. It's very intriguing. You get to really go in depth with each character, figure out what they're like, sort of find out what's happening, the greater mystery that's taking place, and why there's Tartarus and shadows and all this here stuff. It's really cool. I really love it. And the combat system like scratches an itch I never knew I had, which is really weird to say because I've played so many different games that you'd think I'd have played just about anything at this point, but even now, like, I'm still like shocked at just how much different gameplay elements can really, affect me and how much I really enjoy them. But yeah, I've only played about 20 hours of this, which I need to go back into and play more of. And this next game was the reason that I had to stop. Everything I've just said about Persona 3 Reload nearly enough applies to Metaphor. It's a masterclass. It would have been my game of the year if I was to have done a game of the year list because it's so fucking cool, man. Everything about Metaphor is fantastic. From the world and the world building that just delves into all these different races and their political exploits, this race to be king and the magic system and the monsters and the ways they travel around the world and all this. It's fantastic. And then there's everything else about the game, from the way the calendar system implements in that you have to take time to go and like travel to another area is class. It's great. If I'm wanting to go on a little mini adventure, it will take me like 2 days to travel to this place. So I have 2 days on my ship, and through those 2 days on my ship, I need to spend that time wisely to grow myself and grow my skills and attributes. Once I get there, I can go and do what I need to do. And thankfully, then they have the system that you can just go transport right back. But you have to really be careful about how much time you're spending going out and doing other things, because you could be, talking to characters and doing their specific side stories, which also takes time. And everything really melds itself well into this sort of, you only have a specific amount of time to get through the game. So you've got to like make that time count. Each little mini arc has maybe about 20 days or a month that you have to prepare for it, make your way through that place's dungeon, and like find out the story there. So you have to like plan your time between that main story, side dungeons you can visit, the character stories and all their stuff. It all melds together in a beautiful way that I just enjoy so much. With that, then you have the characters, and the characters are really cool. I love Stroll. I love Hulkenberg. I love Heisme. They're all the top 3 characters ever. Will himself, the main character, has a bit of a personality, obviously, because it's a role-playing game. You sort of guide where he comes and where he goes to. But the way him and Gallic interact is really interesting. I quite enjoy it. I nearly think it's a little bit better than P3 Reload in that sense. Actually, no, I definitely think it's better than P3 Reload in nearly every sense. So there's that. The way they have like the enemies, and you have like the monsters you fight, and how they all have their abilities and how they interact, and what impacts they have in the world are all very interesting as well. And especially going into things like the combat, which if I thought Persona 3 Reload's combat was great, like Metaphor's combat is something out of this world. It's so satisfying. It's unbelievable. The way you strategize with your team to take down enemies. I feel like I really have to work myself a lot to try and like find the best solution to get out of any given scenario, even against low level mobs, because if you're not trying to survive a fight, you're trying to like conserve MP to get through a dungeon, and it's just all coalesces itself into this really cool mix of ways in which you have to spend the game. Compared to Persona 3 Reload, where I feel like I was able to like speedrun through each floor to get to the cutoff checkpoint that doesn't happen until the story progresses. Where here it was like I was having to be a lot more tactful with my time, and yes, I could make good progress in the dungeons, but I was near capped by my MP usage, as it's something you heavily have to rely on to utilize the archetypes. So that's something I had to really consider, and I find it like a really natural progression to get me, into the dungeon, out of the dungeon, talking with people, going on side quests, going to side dungeons, all that stuff. Like, it really coalesces in a really nice way. I think I've said coalesces way too many times for any sane person to say at a YouTube video, but that's where we are. And all this to say, I still haven't completed the fucking thing. I'm only 50 hours in, and I do not feel like I'm at the halfway point yet. It's another game I really have to go back into, but for the reasons I've mentioned way back at the start, and just for general life being quite busy, I haven't picked it up again. And I do need to get back to it and finish it off, so I can finish it, and then finish Persona, and then finish every other damn game that I have on my list. I'd expect a video out on both Persona and Metaphor. I don't know if I mentioned that already, but yeah, please do. Rooftops and Alleys definitely takes the cake for my favorite early access game I've played in a while. Now, I don't play many of them, but I've played a good lot this year. A lot of which I haven't even mentioned on this list because they're early access. You know, they're not perfect. They're not 100%. They haven't had everything they have fleshed out. But RNA holds a very special place in just how fun it is. I love games like this, from things like Skate that I used to love playing years ago, and Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, Assassin's Creed and its parkour. RNA specifically does really scratch that itch of that parkour vibe, because that's what the whole game is based on. You parkour around. You have a few different stages, and they're all pretty interesting with cool little moves. As I say, it's an early access game, so a lot of the maps are very basic. A lot of them feel more like playtest environments than they do full, like, orchestrated levels. But it's like one guy making this, so what can I even say? I haven't made a game. Who the fuck am I to say? It's a damn good time, though, and the modding community for it has been fantastic. Like, I'm gonna sound like I'm really stealing your idea here, Reese, for what you said in your video, but it's just because it's true, to be fair. The modding scene in this game is fantastic. They've ported over a lot of the Assassin's Creed maps, which work surprisingly well for what they are. Like, you're literally just porting one game's map into a game that has fundamentally very different mechanics and how they work, and it actually works really well. Like, a lot of the AC2 Florence map that me, Reese, and Andrew actually played on stream was great. Like, you were actually able to go from ground to roof and back to ground in a fairly natural way. While there is a bit of jank that comes with that, it's very, very interesting. So yeah, I'm gonna keep a really close eye on Rooftops and Alleys throughout the year and the next few years, however long it takes for it to become a full release, because there's so much interesting stuff that can be done with a parkour game, and this fella has really, you know, started off well, so hats off to him. Valheim. Oh boy. Valheim is my Minecraft, man. Like, it's the game I will go back to, play for 2 weeks, set it back down, pick it back up, set it back down and pick it back up ad infinitum, and I love it every time. It's still a work in progress. It's again another early access game, but it's there's something so special about Valheim. I actually have recorded an 100-day series with Reese and Andrew on this one, and because the game is updated now, and because I want more excuses to play it, I've basically scrapped that video, and I'm going to redo it in a very similar format, but not the exact format. It sort of doesn't help that the 100 days format seems to be a little bit dry now, in terms of people wanting to watch that stuff. Like, you can only watch so many and them still be interesting, right? But Valheim as a game, it's fantastic. It's a survival crafting game, which is fair enough, but the way in which it structures itself in having to forage, find stuff, kill your first couple of animals, build your base up, is amazing. The graphics in it with the sort of PS2 aesthetic is something I just really, really enjoy. And the volumetric fog, the way the smoke clouds work when you have a fire, it all lends itself to this really just chill environment. Even when you're, you know, scared for your fucking life because you've lost like half your stuff across the world from your spawn point. Even so, it's still just such a good game. So yeah, I look forward to playing more of it in 2025. Maybe I'll eventually get to the very fucking end, because they keep updating it, and all the updates are end game, and I keep restarting worlds because I love the meadows. Like, you know, it's my curse, it's my cross to bear. I'm sorry. It's a great game though. But now we move on to probably my favorite game of the year. Probably is not the right word. It is my favorite game of the year. This game is class. This game is Helldivers 2 is fucking class. I love this game so much. It's it's so fun. Like, whether I'm playing just by myself or with my friends, it's always a good time. Everybody gets really into this game and they really like engross themselves in the world that Arrowhead Studios have built up here in terms of being able to roleplay as the baddies, basically. Like, it's clearly a Starship Troopers knockoff, but it's in the best possible way. Like, the first game was like a top-down like strategy game, and this is just a third-person shooter where strategy is like the farthest thing from my mind. Those stratagems are always in my hand as I fucking throw them at everything in my sights. It's so fun. The customization's great. They have a great monetization model that means you never lose out on stuff, even if you do come back like 2 months later and there's like 7 different passes out that you need to somehow get the in-game currency to get. But because the gameplay is so fun, you'll have no problem collecting it, trying to destroy the bugs or survive the bots, or now with the Illuminate having to, try not to get your brain scrambled by these squid guys. Note to self, don't try and start recording with only 20% in your phone or your phone's going to die. Should have seen that one coming. But anyway, yeah, so Helldivers 2 is probably one of my favorite games of the year. Is definitely my favorite game of the year. Everything about it is just so much fun. It really reminds me of like the old days when you would have just hopped on with the mates and went about your business on like Call of Duty or zombies, very specifically zombies in that sense, where you're going out, you're shooting down hordes of your enemies, and you're just having a great time. And that's what's most important to me, really, is am I able to have fun? So yeah, that's Helldivers 2, I guess, in a nutshell. Glory for democracy. There were other games I played throughout the year that I'm not going to mention here. Basically because I think I've run my mouth for long enough, but also I do have some videos planned on some smaller titles that I would love to just make a little video on and yeah, geek out over. But that's been my year. It's been a busy one, especially in real life, even if it hasn't been over here on YouTube or on Twitch. I'm definitely not on TikTok. I don't think I've uploaded to TikTok in probably near a year at this point. But yeah, 2025 is going to be a good one. I have a bunch of stuff lined up, both IRL and online. Well, most of it's online, but some of it's going to be this stuff, some of it's some other projects that I've been working on behind the scenes in collaboration with my wife, which is great to say. I can say wife now. That's fantastic. But yeah, fingers crossed it all bears some fruit. Thank you very much for watching. If you watched this far, if you could give the video a like, subscribe, comment would be much appreciated. Let me know how your 2024 went. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.